All right. I think we're live.
All
It
right.
takes a second always to cut over, but we're there.
Well, hello, everybody. This is What's in Your World.
Whoop, whoop.
I am your host, SlimeT and ChazzyTv. This is my guest, my frequent guest.
Your
Shall I
permanent
say?
guest for time being
Exactly.
until further notice. All right. I have to give some shower thoughts.
Perfect.
Cold open. Here's 4 really good ones that I like. The most suspicious thing to buy in a gun store is a single bullet. It's pretty suspicious, actually.
Yeah, it is.
You,
Wow.
You're either going to kill someone or you're going to kill yourself. Most likely yourself.
Wow. Yeesh.
If you want to trick a genie, then all you have to do is write everything you want down on a piece of paper and then wish for everything on that paper to come true.
Ooh.
That was good. I like that one. We are the first generation in human history to see actual video footage of what life was like 100 years prior. That's crazy. No
Yeah,
one
that's
had
pretty
ever
crazy.
seen what life was like 100 years ago until now.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
We're the first time ever that we can just see something, what life was like. And this is also, but like, if you were living in 1800 and then you got to see what 1700 was like, it wouldn't be much of a difference. You know, like,
That's true.
not a
I
big
guess.
difference. But you do it now and you're like, what the fuck am I looking
But
at?
maybe to them it would have been.
I doubt it.
Really?
Like, statistically speaking, life really did not change until about 1800. Period. Everybody, generation after generation, was roughly the same, you know. All right, last one. Black holes are the top of the food chain. They are
Oh, wow.
the top of the food chain. There is nothing bigger than a black hole that we know of, at least, that we can grasp and comprehend. Yeah, pretty nuts.
I don't like that idea.
Isn't that nuts?
It is nuts.
Yeah, do you think we'll ever go through a black hole? You think it's something we'll be able to accomplish in
Not in our human lifetime.
not in our lifetime, but you think it'll be accomplishable?
I mean, aren't there black holes recorded? Like,
No, I'm saying
Aren't they-
travel through one.
oh, I don't.
I think it's pretty known now, right? That they
There are,
exist.
yeah, that
I
they
think
exist.
that-
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think,
No, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
that's pretty. I think we at least have. I think we actually caught one on tape, or like footage on a microscope or a microscope, a fucking telescope. A microscope would be something for like bacteria, you know.
Dude, that's some Horton Hears the Who stuff.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I love all those. I love those stories, man. You gotta give it to them. Like
Yeah.
those are great. But yeah, Horton Hears a Who. That is a good one. I agree with that. Yo, didn't you see that movie? Home? Was it called Home?
I started it.
And didn't
And I
finish
didn't
it.
finish it.
Oh man, was it that bad?
I didn't really like it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, first thing, I was pretty preoccupied. I mean, it wasn't the only thing I was doing at the time. Like I was,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't want to know.
No, man, just relax. And yeah, it never really caught my attention too much. Like it was the alien, like da 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 alien. It was like this alien species took over Earth, but the alien species was like running away from another alien species,
Oh, interesting.
and yeah, I think it was pretty stupid.
How long until you gave up?
No, to be honest, I fell asleep.
Okay, that's probably even
Yeah.
worse
Yeah.
because you're trying.
Yeah.
But you just can't do
Yeah,
it.
I think I fell asleep probably like 35, 40 minutes into it.
That's fair. You
And
should.
then woke up like at the very end, and it was like, oh well, now I know what happened. So I'm not gonna
go back and watch
go
that
back
shit,
and watch
yeah.
the rest of it. So
That's fair. That is
But-
fair.
yeah,
Cool.
I'm
Okay.
really having fun with this. I only changed it a couple times. But
I don't, dude. Go to town, man. Do what
Yeah,
you want.
yeah. So if
It's
you
all
haven't noticed, we're testing out some new technology here. Now I'm here, and now I'm here.
I don't know
So-
if it was good to give
Oh.
you the power of this or not yet, but we'll go with
Well,
it.
hey, I'll
I'm just
figure it
kidding. I
out.
really don't care, man. Not
It's-
to
it's
mention
our
this is
show.
really
It's-
your show more than
Yeah,
anything. So
exactly.
you want to fucking cut back and forth? You cut back and forth.
I will.
I like it.
I will.
Welcome to live broadcasting.
Yep.
I've always thought about what a cool role broadcast editing would be.
Yeah.
And I kind of had an opportunity to go down that road, and I decided to go work for Apple instead. But I've always thought, what a cool life. I've always liked the live broadcast. I don't like to catch live events. I don't like weddings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That scares the shit out of me.
Like real wedding?
Yes, like a real
You don't
wedding.
like going to weddings?
I don't know. I'm talking about like filming them.
Ah, yeah.
I would not
Okay,
like to
sure.
film But I like to do live broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a wedding's live,
yeah.
but that's not the kind of live I'm talking about.
Got you.
But it'd be cool to be inside the room, inside the studio, and you're like watching all these feeds, and you're cutting back and forth between them, and you're adding transitions.
Yeah,
in, and
sure.
You're really all of these. I always watch like a news station, like a CNN or a Fox News or something like that, and it is impressive the way they're able to do all the transitioning and the graphics and all the stuff, popping news, or just all the crazy things. It's like an art form that I have an appreciation for silently in the background as I watch these things, and I always think, man, that dude had to do this, and he had to layer this way, and he had to put it together this way, and now he's putting this in there, and like, oh my God, he just changed it and did this with it, and like, good cut. I always think like when they cut properly and it's real smooth, I'm like, man, that was a good cut, dude. Well done. You nailed that one.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about it from the person sitting in that room, in that office or whatever, watching all those screens, pressing all the buttons.
Right.
Like what you're doing,
Yeah.
just on a whole nother level.
I think I messed it up, so... Oh, wait, here we go.
Yo, if you could do anything, and I hope I'm not hijacking the conversation
Okay.
too much.
No. I mean, that's what the show is. Come on,
Right.
man.
If you could do anything,
Okay.
just anything, man, it doesn't matter, what would you do? Don't think about money. Don't think about like I got a career.
Like profession-wise?
Yeah, like you.
This
you
is
wanna
what I
be-
do with my
You
life.
want to be really, really good at it. You would want to be really good at this. What would it be?
Man, that's a great question. 'Cause I'm trying to take into account all factors that I'm like, that I am already passionate about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think mine would be storytelling.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
think mine would be storytelling.
That's a good one.
And I'd love to be through a video medium like movie making and television. Yeah.
For me, like, if I could generalize, like,
It's hard.
my main life goal would be, to connect people that wouldn't have connected otherwise.
So you want
And
to be
on a-
some connector of people.
Yeah, in some way. Yeah. Just like, because I like meeting people and then introducing them to people I already know, and like, I feel like I can create bonds with people and get people to all join together for one greater common cause.
Oh, interesting.
And in of like connecting people that really wouldn't have connected otherwise, and like creating that platform.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you want to like? Would you want to like help people through their problems, like almost like a therapist, but not quite? Maybe like a motivational person or whatever. Like I don't know. Would you want to go down that road?
I wouldn't want to like.
Some self-help
I would want
stuff?
my personal experience to be my educator for it, in the sense that like I don't want to like this. My goal isn't like to like go to school to do this. I want to like learn.
Yeah.
And like go through it, and then create the platform through what I know.
That's fair. And how would you want to do this?
I don't know.
Have you ever thought about like what's the best way to connect people? How would you want?
There's a lot of ways. I mean, you can talk about religion. You can talk about music. You can talk about sport. You can talk about like there's a lot of different avenues you can take with it.
I would have told you that religion probably was the most widespread, best way of grabbing people into like a gathering or whatever.
Sure.
I'm starting to think social media is now.
Yeah, I get
the
that, but like the one thing I think about when I think about this is I don't want to have. Not like I don't want to have an internet presence, but like I don't want to use the internet as my medium for creating the platform. I would like it to be personal first. Like, I don't want to have to be in control of like media and stuff.
So you would.
I'm really not good at.
All right. So like when you want to do this, you would want to have a common goal to back behind it. And I guess my meaning behind that is like you wouldn't want to create a place where you're just having people meet.
No.
So there's no reasoning.
No,
for
no, absolutely not.
But you want a purpose behind.
Yes.
What you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. Fair. Do you have any big ones that you would love to have gotten behind or get behind in this world?
I mean, not that I'd like to share at the current moment.
Oh shit.
I mean, because like I'm always thinking about
like
this kind of stuff,
Yeah,
you know, and I don't want to say things until I do things, you know.
Yeah. Can you give me can I get a hint?
I mean,
to what it might be.
Yeah. I mean, you can throw a peace sign on it.
Peace. Okay. All right. That's fair. I'll
and
take
like
what I can
love.
get. All right.
But not like in a weird, you know, like.
Do you have ideas on how you want to accomplish it? Are you trying to go after it, or is this just something?
No, it's just gonna happen.
Okay. All right.
It's already happening. Like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I feel you.
Like, and I can't I don't even think I could pinpoint. I mean, I could in here, but I don't think I could explain it well enough.
Do you have any ideas on how you would go about trying to get people to come rally behind it?
No, I think that'll come
Naturally?
organically.
Yeah.
If I put the work in.
Then the people, yeah. If you build the field, then they'll come.
Dude, if you build a stadium,
Yeah.
do you think people are just gonna like walk past it and not look at it?
Legion Field, they do.
Well, but dude, that thing has been around since like 1915.
And it's just decrepit.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
No, I agree. I'm
like,
on the same page.
If you build, you know, the Empire State Building, people aren't just gonna walk past it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. People can't not look at empires of all kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. All right, fair enough. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad we can discuss this.
Yeah. I mean, hey, whatever more you like to tell me about it, I like it.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess I'll continue on with like what's something else, another trade out there besides a movement would you want? Anything else? What would be your secondary, I guess, thing in life?
Ooh.
Like I don't even know. I would have told you soccer my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But like the older I get now, I'm starting to really truly love other things so much that I'm like, I don't want to spend time doing soccer because I would rather spend time learning other things that I didn't spend time learning. You know, like it's almost it's a cost benefit of like if I keep doing soccer, then I'm taking away from the other things. You know, so like it's hard now to say like what my tops are because soccer was always so high up there. Might be like programming, like computers. Just computers.
You say that, but now I'm thinking to myself, I've been having a lot of dreams lately where I was a pro futsal player, just like killing it.
That's fair.
Because like now now that I've like indulged in futsal world, dude, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Like that was like my style of play would have fit best in futsal. Like,
so isn't it weird? One of those things that like, don't you wish you could go back and then maybe tried futsal more when you were younger?
well, I mean, I didn't really have the platform. I didn't have an opportunity really. If like there was a small futsal league for like a year in like the back of a one of those gyms with the baseball machines and like batting machines, I guess is what they called them. Literally in the back, and like the garage was this tiny, like it's as big as this room, like laid down turf. You know.
Yeah.
And like these tiny goals, and I played that for like one season. I think that's all it was, as long as it was there. And then I played Sports Blast, like up until it closed.
Which did you say they just demolished?
Yeah, my mom drove past it and called me. She was like, "Slim, you're not gonna believe this."
Great. When I drove up and saw it, I was like, "What is happening?"
So weird.
This is nuts. I think they're building some crazy. I haven't seen it, but
It's like an office or something.
Is it really?
It's something like that.
It's like Boosa's next office building
No,
as the conglomerate continues to grow.
AI is going to be running that club in 10 years.
Well, if they're smart, they'll try to do that.
Well, they're not.
Yeah, they're not going to do it, but it would be smart. Speaking of, man, I need to talk to you about my little AI that I'm working on.
Ooh.
That is coming out pretty sick so far, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Is this the one we had been talking about previously? Was this for an app?
No, this is. It's been spurred on. Are you okay with going down this road?
100%.
It's been spurred on by the Wall Street Bets thing.
Oh.
All right, so I got this idea going down the Wall Street Bets road that
Okay.
there was this guy wrote this program essentially. You know what Python is? Python's a programming language.
Okay.
All right, and so it's one of the most widely used programming language for general purposes. All right, because like there's languages just for mobile programming.
Okay.
But there's general purpose ones like Python. And Python you don't use for mobile programming, but you will use it to write little scripts, that go on YouTube and watch videos for you. That would be a Python script.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like general purpose, just random things you want to do.
Okay.
So I found this guy who was talking about how he made this Reddit analyzer. So it goes into subreddits, grabs all the posts and comments you want based on whatever criteria you want. So, hey, the comments have to have 500 upvotes and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can put a criteria to how you grab these things. Grab all of it, analyze it all in a Python library that takes each sentence for each comment, analyzes the sentence, and then pretty much gives it a sentiment value. Is it a positive or a negative? And what it is tuned to do essentially is it goes and it finds all of the cryptos, the tickers and the cryptos that it's talking about. All right? So now it knows a top 10 list of all the cryptos that the subreddit's talking about. All right? And then it gives you a list of like, hey, Ether's been talked about 300 times. XRP's been talked about 150 times.
Okay.
And then it gives you a breakdown of the top 5, and it tells you what the sentiment level that it feels for each of them are. So it has read through all these comments, and it will tell you it looks like it's very bullish for Ether, and it's very bearish. Like my last indicators that I pulled up for today's little report, I'm calling it a report, it told me that they're very bearish on XRP, and they're very bullish on Ether. All right? So, like, I'm trying to take I've modified the one that I found that this guy wrote, all right? And I've just been kind of tinkering it. And I now have it running for crypto and stocks. So it'll then go into all the top stock subreddits, grab all the comments, grab all the stocks that they're talking about. And, dude, like, GameStop is long shot. Well above we're talking like 600 to 800 times versus like 100 times for the next stock, which is usually AMC.
So does that mean it's gonna keep going up?
It's very bullish on these indicators, but like this is really crude. I still have the next part of this whole thing is I'm gonna have to take an AI model and start training it. And pretty much what that is I'm pretty much taking those sentences that it rates, and I'm going to go in and modify them. The problem is that you'll see like someone's like sarcastic in a comment.
It's not picking up on that. It
doesn't know what sarcasm is. So you have to start training the model to understand things. And then the fun part will be when I get to this one day is where you press start and it just starts going. And now it starts building its own models. And it's grabbing data. And it starts looking at the past stuff and trying to form a better way of rating these comments. And then you start realizing like it's working really, really well, and you've tuned it fine enough. And then once you've tuned it to a good layer, you just let the thing go. And
this is insane.
The next layer of this that I really want to get into is I want to start grabbing articles from news feeds. All right, and I think I've figured out how to do this. And then I'm going to analyze each article for the same thing. So I'll take crypto articles, I'll analyze it into a crypto report. So it'll just build on what I've already. So I'll take Reddit. I'm planning to take Reddit, Twitter, and news articles. And I'm going to start analyzing all of them into a crypto package and then a stock one for just stocks. And I'm going to start looking over what's the sentiment looking like for each crypto in any given environment. So I'm trying to get an all-encompassing picture.
Wow.
And not only that, but then I've been saving all these comments, so you can go look through like the best stuff.
Oh
So
my
you can just get an empty dump of the best comments now because they've all been upvoted 5,000 times. So that's all you see. So you don't have to go skim through like thousands of comments. You just go
That
read
is
the top
insane.
shit already.
That is
and,
insane.
and I've already started to see things that I never would have found. Talking about stuff that I never would have seen before. You know? Like it's kind of like, holy shit. This could be something really, really cool.
Yeah.
You know? And it all spurred on from like this idea of, I know, like one of my friends knew about GameStop before the hype.
Okay.
But how did he know that?
Right.
This idea, it like drove into my head. Like, his name's Sully. So if you're watching,
Oh yeah,
Sully,
dude. What's up, Sully?
love Sully.
Shout out to Sully.
Dude's mind works on a way mine does not.
Yeah.
You know? And so he had already spotted this whole thing. Super intelligent guy. He'd already spotted this thing. And he was already kind of talking about it. And I was kind of semi into it with him, but semi kind of ignoring the idea of like, cool, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's cool. I didn't see how big it had gotten. All right, so how did he know that? How did he see that? Where did he go? What was he looking at?
Mhm.
How did, and I'm having him come over, and I want him to go over this with me a little bit.
Oh, sweet.
And talk about like, all right, man, how do you find stuff?
Uh-huh.
What's your mentality when you go find stuff? And not only that, like, all right, you go on the subreddit, cool, but like, what are you doing when you get on the subreddit? What are you looking for? What patterns? You're looking for patterns. You don't even realize, but you're doing this. You know, computer programming has totally changed my mind on like how I think about all this stuff. But like, find the pattern. He's looking through headlines. The headlines are going to trick his mind. All right, this one's cool. I'll click on that one. I'll go look through some comments. I'm not saying this is solely, but I'm saying this is a pattern that can arrive that you can try to find.
Sure.
You know, so like, how are you doing this, and how do you find how did you find the GameStop? How does someone do that?
Yeah.
How do you find things before they become things? And so that's my idea. And like these AIs going forward will start predicting. They'll start saying, oh, well, I think GameStop will be the next big thing, even though it's the 10th picked thing. But like, it's reading these sentiment levels that it has seen for years, that it's like, oh, okay, I've seen this pattern before. This means that this could be something. You know, that's kind of where I'm hoping to go with it down the road. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like a year or two long project that I'm working on. But
when did it? Let me ask this: did you come up with this between the last episode?
yes,
So this whole thing
yes,
took you a week to figure out.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. When I get moving on something,
You were
that's-
so nonchalant with that answer, man.
yeah.
That is so baffling.
Why is that? I don't know, man. I don't find it that baffling.
Well, no, it's because you know.
I get it. I know. I mean, I guess taking a secondary look back
Yeah,
at it. And
empathize with me right now.
Yeah, like
I don't know any.
taking a step back. Like, sure, I guess like 5 or 6 years ago, I would have been like, dude, this is crazy. I guess this is where the idea of I want to write a book one day called Open Doors, and
We've talked about
the
this,
whole idea
yeah.
is just like, once you open a door in life and learn something new, it's just analogizing the idea of gaining more knowledge. Once you open that door and gain that knowledge, you just walked into a room with 100,000 more doors.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, all I've been doing for the past 6 years is running to doors to try to open them. Some open, some don't. And I just keep doing it. And I've realized they build on each other in such a way that you can't even describe. So, like, I never planned on using Python to do anything. I just wanted Python originally to, like, cast something to my TV when I wanted that Chromecast wouldn't let me. You know? Like, one of my cameras in the house or something like that. I want to be able to, like... And then I wanted to be able to tell Google to do it. And then... oh, I want to do this script, and then this script, and then, like, you start learning all these deeper things, and then, honestly, next thing you know, you're like, oh, this AI thing is really not as complicated, because it's just like these other libraries that I've been using. It's just a little bit more complex. I just got to spend a little bit more time with it, And then, like, you can just go take code from people that have open source code that they've been writing, and then you just start modifying it. This guy had already written this code to take things from Reddit and start analyzing them, and I've just tinkered it to do exactly what I want it to do. You know, so, like,
Yeah.
you're like, yes, I have, like, a lot of time that I've spent in the nights working on this in the last couple of days, and it is kind of funny to think that, like, yeah, I guess I did come up with the idea and then actually start to produce the idea within a matter of like 48 hours.
Yeah.
And
Because
now it's really going crazy.
I mean, I remember a couple, like maybe a month or two ago, we were in here and we were talking about this app, and then I don't know, like 4 days later, you like updated me on your progress, and then you sent me a picture of the logo, and I was like,
that's still an app that I
"What?"
want to write.
I was like, "What?"
I've kind of built a proof of concept for that one, but I'm sitting that one on the shelf for a
Okay,
time
yeah,
being.
yeah, for sure.
But I don't mind talking about it.
No, we can hold on to that.
But
one.
that's one of those ones that, like, damn this, I love this idea, but I couldn't even launch it right now if I wanted to, because the network on crypto wise that I want to launch it on doesn't exist yet. It's not launched. That will come out sometime between now and May. So, like, sometime after that point, I want the official. I want to see some statistics about that network and how well it's doing, and then I want to attack this idea. So it's like a 2 or 3 to 5 year project. But I've already started to build. I've got a lot of code sitting around and projects that just sit there, and I may come back to them. Like, I have my own app that I'm building, just for my own. It's got
for you only.
just for me, and I'm gonna open it up to my family, but it has, like, for instance, this is another Python thing that I ended up building into. Like, I have an API that runs in my house, and I get to connect to it through my app. So, like,
Okay, hold on. What is an API?
it's like your phone needs to connect to, you get on Facebook or you get on Twitter or something like that. Well, that data comes from somewhere, right?
Okay.
Like, where did all those posts come from in the comments?
Uh-huh.
It connects to a server on a computer with an API that is running on it that is connected to the web, and it just says, "Hey, API, I need this data," and it says, oh, "Okay, I'll send you these posts and all that stuff. Here you go." It just sends data. It just takes data that is on that computer and sends it out. So I essentially built one, and I have, like, encrypted chat on there too. So, like, my little app, and this will be really cool when I have my family, all right, because it'll be a chat that is encrypted all through my server. So I don't go through anybody else's stuff. No one. The whole chat takes place based on my connections, my server, my everything, and it's encrypted with my encryption keys. So, like, those keys are my keys. So you got to break my encryption to get through it. They're not stored anywhere else but on my stuff. So you got to get.
That's so crazy.
So, like, I spent time building that in Python. That was a fun project. These are all little baby projects. I get this idea in my head and I'm like, man, I really want to do this. And then I'm just like, 48 hours later, I'm like, cool, done. So, like, I have that sitting in the background, and this app building with it. I have I built the chat. You can create a user.
Wow.
You see the list of users. You can click on a user. You can send a private message. It'll even show you that they're typing. You know?
Wow, that's
Like,
so cool.
it's a real-time encrypted chat, and it encrypts it, sends it, and then your phone brings it in and then decrypts it. Like, it's a pretty sick little thing. And then I'm adding a bunch of other stuff in there that are gonna eventually kind of play in, like this news report that I'm bringing from Wall Street Bets or whatever, and all these different subreddits and news stuff. I want to bring it into my app, and then I just get on my app and have, like, a feed every day that I call it my daily report, and it just gives me, like, a daily report of all the sentiment of all, like, here are the top articles, here's the top stuff. Like, it'll be really categorized in a sense, and I want to pull it all into my own little. Then I'm gonna tie that into, like, my home server. It'll give me statuses on is my server up, my Plex server. I want to manage users on there. Like, I want to be able to block people from it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll end up building all that into the app.
That is insane.
Just time consuming, but, like, the way I see it is, every time I work on these things, I'm learning new things that then build on each other.
Sure.
That lead you to a point
Which
where
is
you're working with like AI.
the same thing we were talking about the doors.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to create more of these ideas because that's what all these baby projects are.
Yes.
You
Baby
know?
projects lead to
Are
big projects.
Big projects.
Yeah. That like
Adult projects, you know?
like big stuff.
They skip those teenage years.
They do. You know, like if this report thing turned out, it could be kind of a cool thing to make money from, you know? Like,
Sure.
In a couple of different ways. You know, so like, I don't know, some days I think like one of these projects might actually turn out to actually be something, you know? And like I'll open source a lot of them eventually. But for right now, it's mainly just like little private things that I'm working on in a sense. But this one really kind of excites me because there's a lot of shit to get through in media today.
Yeah.
And I just want to know about what I want to know about.
Right.
So, like, how do you do that? And then at the same time, how do you find the things that are going to be big before they're big? I want to do that, too.
Because it's not like you're closed down to only these things.
This is where I'm beginning.
But you want to know what else is coming in.
Yeah. I'll build this. Once I've mastered it to a certain degree in the crypto stock world, I'll move over into technology as a whole. What tech is going to be the next big thing? You know, like everybody's talking about like, oh, 5G is going to be the next big thing, or VR is going to be the next big thing, or AR, or, you know, neural net, or quantum computing. I want to be monitoring that as well. I want that to be coming in. There's a couple of different things I want to apply this to eventually, and that's why I think it'll be cool to start with where I am, you know, and like I love crypto. I think stocks are okay. I'm just not a big fan of the stock market, but I think that'll help give me a bigger picture of also the economy, which is something that we've talked about. Like something about the economy. It's like this living creature. And I love to just study it.
Yeah.
I'm not some professional over here. I'm just some guy that's just studying the economy and markets. That's it. And it'll help me see a better picture of the economy. You know, and really
people do that for a living.
Yeah, for sure. You know,
and if that's just a side hustle or just something you'll
it's
do
more
when
passion.
you just look on
Yeah,
your
it's just
computer.
passion.
Yeah,
I just spend a couple hours at night.
Yeah,
you know, like I'll be like, I'll tell my wife, I'll be like, I got this like in my head. Can I go work on this tonight? We call it quick, you know, early night. She'll be like, yeah, I'll go to bed or something like that.
Right.
I'll come down here and start working on some shit like that. But yeah, that's one that I think will be really cool. That would be a lot of fun, you know, if I can make it work.
Right.
The AI part really is like, I still get really confused about that part. I've gotten all the sentiment thing is just dumb. Like I'm reading through what it's bringing in and looking through and what it's spitting out because it shows you every sentence. This is the sentence and this is what it rated it.
Right.
You know? So like I'm just scrolling through these things, looking, and I'm like, half these are wrong. They're wrong. They're not right.
Yeah.
I'm reading this sentence, and clearly that's not a bullish statement. That's a bearish statement. You know, like XRP, haha, what a great buy. You know, like I know they're being sarcastic.
Right.
You know, so like, but like, how do you teach it this? You know,
right.
That's hard to understand.
How to train your AI.
How do you train these AI? You know, my first idea was just I need to bring in a lot of data. So I just start
keep the data coming in,
which takes time. You know, you think about that, you're like, yeah, just start saving the data. Sure. Well, you got to build this model in code to save that data, and I have to have a database that I have running to save it. These are all projects that I'd like. Do you know how to run a database?
I don't even.
So like these are like it's like one night where I'm like, all right, let's go figure out how to start a database and run it. You know. But no, I am at a point now where like I have it all built, it's all ready, it's all done, and it's saving these things or whatever. And I just want to try to do that for like a year and have this massive, massive repo of content that has been grabbed and saved and rated, and then I'll try to then go back and start training models of like, I know the training process is like you take what they're doing and you just reassign the bullish bearish statements. And
Okay.
say, hey, this is the right sentiment. And you can even like tinker it down to like if it's this phrase, this would most likely be a bullish phrase. Or if it's these two words combined or just this word, you know, like
Yeah.
you got to I have a list of words that I gave it that like you hodl. That's not in the English dictionary. But if someone says hodl, that's a bullish statement. You don't tell someone to sell XRP and hodl. That doesn't make sense, you know? So, like, you have to teach it a little bit. You've got to give it some variables and be like, hey, these things are bullish statements. So if you read that, you need to know that that's actually bullish, you know? So, like, it's cool, man. It's a crazy to see. It's crazy to see forming.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to train this faster than you'll be able to train your daughter how to understand language? Because now you have 2 children.
That's
One of them isn't real, but
all right, I'm gonna throw a twist in this.
okay.
I'm hoping that I can train my daughter to train it. I want my daughter to learn AI better than I could ever learn.
I'm
AI.
sure they will.
Like she needs. I don't know how to do that yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna try to figure out how to do that. She's on the cusp. She's very on the brink of communication, but like, I don't know. I think she'll probably be. Look, man, computers are stupid. They're real dumb. Like people don't really quite understand how dumb computers. Quantum computing is still dumb to a certain degree. It's just super fast, you know. But like computers are dumb. They have to be told exactly what to do, and when they don't get told exactly what to do, we call it a bug. You know, like that's just
that's crazy.
That's just the way they work. So like, we're still really primitive. She'll learn language faster for sure, and then hopefully she'll jump right into that little world. It's hard to figure out how to like train an AI system. It's like one thing that I didn't even think about, and I know I'm going off on another tangent, but like, how do you store all of this? Where do you save it? You're like, just save all this data. Where does it go? So like, I have to data management that. You know, like I got all this Plex content. I got all this content. Like I don't have room for all of this. So trying to find like I haven't even gotten to the AI part,
Right?
Because I got to figure out how I can even save the data for the AI. You know, like that's a whole nother part of the whole picture that you don't.
These are really complex.
Yeah,
things.
man. You start wanting to. You get an idea in your head, and I start writing it down and figuring it out, and I start realizing this is like a lot of pieces that have to be put together to form this one thing. You know, and I have been just laying the foundation for 2 days, for like 2 nights, maybe 3 nights.
Lost track of the nights.
Yeah, like you lose track of the nights, man. Like 2 a.m. hits, and you're like, I need to go to bed, like, real bad, you know. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go on like a long.
No,
tangent.
man,
That one's gonna be.
I'm
fun
glad.
one.
Like this is and again, I touch on this a lot, but this show for me is a platform for me to learn. Like I have a lot to learn, and me
we all do.
starting
We all
off with the question, "What's in your world?" is just the first door to a lot of things that I'm gonna learn. You know,
That is true, man. This is like Joe Rogan is like a door.
because that's our
doors.
consistent
Yeah.
theme of the night is
Yeah.
one door leads to many others.
That's the theme in my life now. I live by this idea.
Yeah.
That like you can open the wrong doors only if you allow it to be wrong in your head. You can't unsee something, but you can fight it. You know, like I get the dark, like
Or like
there's some doors.
accept it or let it go. You know,
Some people aren't built to open some doors. I get that. You know, I'm not one of those people. I think I can pretty much open any door and just realize, like, I need to shut that door.
yeah.
It's not the door I want to go down, you know? But, like, open them and keep opening them. And don't stop, because one day, I swear I get into the idea that I just think that we're going to college too soon. We're trying to decide our futures too soon. And we weren't given the proper amount of time to go try to open doors.
Yep.
We're not opening enough.
Yep.
And I want to make sure for my child that I'm throwing all kinds of shit at her so that she just keeps seeing. And I think we're all a Mozart. We just aren't all finding our music.
Mm.
And it bothers me sometimes that, like, we're not even creating the proper environment to find our music.
Yeah.
So we can't be a Mozart
Mm.
because you never got the opportunity. What if you could have been professional at something that you've never even tried before? You don't know because you can't know.
Exactly.
It's a conundrum. I get
Sure.
it. But, like, I think that's real.
Yeah, I
truly
agree.
think that's real.
I agree.
I think
I would even go as to say there are several things.
yes.
You know, because it can't just be one. You know, there's no one true exact. Because I don't think, you know, I don't know if that's life. You know,
I think to a certain degree. I think you can
To a certain
be
degree, sure.
truly. I think there
Sure.
will be some
And-
things you would be better at than others.
sure, 100%.
But I think you're totally right.
But I
that
think
you can be truly great
I may have
at many things. Yes.
I may have improperly said what I meant.
no, I think
it's like
uh,
you could fall in love with 10 different
Yes,
things
yes.
and be the, you know, the best you can be
pretty
at
much
any of these
evenly
things.
as good at all. Of
You
them.
know?
Yeah, you could.
And you can say that this
Yeah.
one thing that you achieve is your thing.
Yes.
You never know.
Yes, I've fought my dad over this idea because he truly believes that, like, no, you're like born. with this,
Yeah,
like,
I remember as a kid, man.
and I get the idea. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong, but I just think that no, I think those people just ended up finding their love sooner or at all
Yeah.
than other people found. And this idea really, really dug deep with me with programming at 26 years old.
Mm.
Once I started discovering programming, there's a reason why I've gotten to this point in 5 years where I can do AI and stuff like that. It's because think about how good you got in 5 years of soccer, dude.
Yeah.
You love something, you spend every waking moment you can doing it, and you become really good at it, man. And, like, look at Elon Musk. He taught himself rocket science. He taught himself. He didn't go to school for rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
He just did that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we are all capable of this.
Yeah.
We're just, I think it's two things. One, you're not exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, we're lazy creatures by nature. And we're our own worst enemy.
And if you don't believe that you can do this or other things, you're not gonna. You are blocking yourself off from that own opportunity. You know.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, man, it's one of the best motivational speeches I've ever heard in my entire life. You can't get away from just hard work. Just hard work.
No.
Like, you have to. Every moment you spend not trying to get forward, someone else is out there trying to get forward and they're passing you.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, that's just reality of it. There's no getting around hard work. And I want my daughter to truly understand that concept of, like, I want you to be able to fail, and I want you to get back up and fail again because you need to work harder to then succeed. So don't stop working to get to something. It's going to take a long time, and you won't see it for a while, and that's okay. You know, and I think that people they're lazy. We're lazy. Our natural state is to be lazy. It's so hard to overcome. I find myself over in that chair some nights, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything right now. And I just hate it, man.
Yep.
I hate that
Yep.
feeling.
Yep.
You know? Like,
Yep.
I
On
wanna-
days where I don't have stuff to do and I sleep in, oh man, I tell you what, I'm so mad at myself. Like it kills my mood.
Yeah.
Like I
just,
will not
yeah.
like I'll have to like really make the effort to like make the best out of that day after that because or else it's not going in my favor.
Yeah. 100%.
You know? It's like
I truly have gotten to a point where if I'm not pushing myself every single day, I feel like I'm wasted a day.
yep.
Like, I don't know how that formed. I don't know how that became a thing. I was not always like this.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problem being lazy for a while, you know? And I think maybe that was the part of it where I was like, I'm done with this. And I want to do more in my life. So maybe that's a part of maybe I hit that point, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I think we've had a little bit of a conversation of how I transformed over the last 10 years.
Yes.
And where that came from, and I think a lot of the basis of that. But how the idea comes into my head that, like, if I don't do something at night after my wife goes to bed and I've accomplished something or I've read something that helps me, you know, get further, it's a waste. I wasted that night. There is a part of me that does think to myself, it's okay to play some video games and shit like that randomly and get no real gain out of it to a certain, because you just need to kind of like take a step back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
the mind needs to like
Yep.
get away.
And that a couple episodes ago when we were talking about meditation and how
Yeah.
that doesn't have to be like totally taking yourself away from, what you're doing in the moment. You can just right then and there, whatever it means to you, can be anything. You just
Playing video games could be
Play
a
video
form
game.
of meditating, like
if that's what you want to do,
100%.
and because a lot of times people will, like me especially, like I'll get down on myself for taking some time out for myself. Like I'll beat myself up. Like I took this X amount of time for myself. Like, I took a nap today. Like, no, but then you always have to. It's like the constant battle. Well,
Give
you
and
don't
take.
have to. You don't have to think about it like that.
No.
You deserve that time.
Yeah. You need to take that
You
time.
woke up. You may have had a dream that made you process some things later on. Like
Yeah.
you thought through it, whatever,
Yeah.
and then you went after it after that.
Yeah. 100%.
It's the constant battle of, are you going to let yourself be pushed around by your own perspective on this situation?
We are our own worst enemies.
100%.
We're fighting ourselves every day.
100%.
I fight myself I feel myself fighting myself.
Yeah.
You know?
That's one thing I wish I could teach every kid I've ever coached.
Yeah. But how do you teach?
It's so difficult
It's really hard, and it's
because you
one of-
can't just tell them that.
No.
You
and
can't
like-
just say you're your worst enemy. They're not gonna. It's very hard to fathom that concept.
No, and even though I understand a lot of my like personal bad habits and vices,
Mm-hmm.
I still struggle at overcoming them. And it's mainly because of like I get satisfaction out of it, regardless whether it's a good thing or not. Therefore, like, what incentivizes me to want to quit said bad action if I get good satisfaction from it?
Right.
Like just random things, like I pick my fingers or whatever.
Sure.
Like that's a form of like mutilation. You dig a little too deep, I bleed sometimes, but like I've never thought of it being that big of a deal. Like
Sure.
it's just,
Sure.
but like Mallory's like, you're bleeding right now. Like you just picked yourself until you're bleeding, and I'm like, I didn't really think about it. Like didn't really grasp the concept.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those things.
It's the inner battle.
It's just the inner battle. And these habits that we have, I tried to research into like how do you take a habit and remove it? How do you get rid of a habit, like a deep-rooted one, one that really has grasped a hold of you? Like my picking problem in a sense. How do you grasp that? And like the book Power of Habit is one of the best books. It's like number 2, Talent Code number 1, Power of Habits number 2.
Yeah.
And they break down all these studies on habits, and they have this like this breakdown of it, and it kind of goes in this idea that like you get the tick, the urge, you feel it. My thumb wants to be picked. You feel that urge, then you satisfy the urge by making an action like picking, and then you get the relief, the dopamine that relieves that, and then you kind of fall into this routine, and you get into this habit form of it, and now you've created this idea that like you get that feeling, and you need to satisfy it. Now you got this like almost like withdrawal if you don't satisfy it because you've created this now. And they pretty much get in this idea that you actually cannot remove a habit that is deep-rooted like that. You have to replace it with another habit.
Interesting. You have to replace it.
You have to take the craving and find a way to satisfy it with something else that's mundane. Because you can't really get, from what they have concluded, you cannot get rid of this craving.
Interesting.
You can only replace how you satisfy the craving at this point. And then maybe you can grow out of some of them. But like these things, like it gets into some deep studies of it, and it is crazy to hear some of these people and like the habits they get into and like they can't get out of. It like forms who they are. they don't even know they're doing it. You know, like it's just crazy stuff, man. And like trying to fight those battles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've tried to get into the long story short kind of a thing. We are our own worst enemies for sure.
Yeah.
We're just a bundle of habits. That's all we are. And fighting those habits are the hardest part.
It's like a question of how disciplined can you become.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Which is so
How
hard.
disciplined. That's
It's
the hardest
so
thing,
hard.
man. Discipline is so hard. Yeah, I say discipline is so hard, but if you discipline yourself, disciplining is very hard.
No.
You know?
It can be
It
super simple idea,
Yeah. So simple.
but in practice can be very difficult to form.
100%.
Like the idea to become disciplined takes discipline, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
so like it's almost a conundrum in itself on
Mhm.
how it works. And like I don't know, man. I think that comes with time. I think it comes with training. I think a lot of it does have to do with your surroundings. Like I'll be
Yes.
I have to be disciplined with my child if I want her to be disciplined. growing up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the quicker we can do that, the better off she'll be.
Exactly.
You know?
Because you can't just force discipline,
No.
especially like if you're
Takes
you know.
time. Takes a lot
Yep.
of time. It's my favorite analogy ever is like brushing your teeth one time does a diddly squat,
Mm-hmm.
but brushing your teeth every day, now that does something for you.
Right.
So working out one day, not shit. Working out every day, you're gonna get something from it.
Mhm.
So disciplining my child one time is not gonna do shit, but every day, I'm hoping that eventually she grows into this disciplined child. I don't want to be the dad forcing my daughter to wake up at 8 a.m. to go run up hills and shit. I dated a girl just like this. We're like legit had to wake up on Saturdays and Sundays to go run their friggin' neighborhood and stuff. And
That's
her dad
crazy.
was like instructing it all. You know, like
That's crazy.
intense.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that.
No.
Unless she's like, hey, can you do this? Sure. I will wake up with you at 8 a.m. then, and I'll make this happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't want to be that disciplined,
Mm-hmm.
but I still want her to understand those simple things.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
the main things. And hey, go keep yourself healthy. That's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, don't drink soda. I know I'm drinking soda. You can't
Don't
have
drink
soda. Kind of a thing. Yeah. How long have we been
I think we're
We're under an hour. We should keep it under an hour.
yeah.
We should
I think
keep it under
that's what I'm thinking. I think we're heading towards a close. I think we have two great takeaways. It's that opening one door allows you to
yeah.
open a lot more doors. And then along this road, discipline.
Yeah.
You know, find ways to discipline yourself that you sometimes can get joy out of. Because, like, to be frank, disciplining is like doing stuff you don't want to do,
Yes.
but being aware of the rewards, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I want anybody to take away anything, it's we're all a Mozart for real,
Yeah.
and we just all have to find our music.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is like the key concept.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
The last thing I will say, and then I'm done for the night, is Steve Jobs said it just like this best. Look around you. Look at everything that everybody's built. Everything. The table, the chairs, all the stuff. It was built by no one, no different than you.
Mm.
You can do it too. You're no different. You're a human.
Mm-hmm.
They were a human. They just took the time
Mm.
and put in the effort. And it was that simple, you know? Like, people want instant gratification in this world. Shit, I wish I could have it, but it doesn't come that way. you
Yep.
know? So, anyway, that's my piece. We need to end early before
I
I
love
keep talking.
that. I love it.
Whatever you want to say. What,
Yep.
what do you got?
I mean, I'm just going to close it in here. This has
I don't even
been
have to get up.
another episode of What's in Your World. It has been a pleasure having you on with us. I am Salim. This is Chaz. And we'll see you next week. Peace.